Yo, what is up, everybody? This is it. We are here. This is the first episode, The Hobby Unlimited. We're in the house. What's good? What's going on, everybody? My name is PJ, aka Parlay PJ, as some of you know. And of course, we've got halfway across the country with us today, the man, the myth, the legend, TJ Lloyd in the house. What's good, brother? How are you?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm phenomenal. It is, the beginning of November. Halloween is over, and it's the best time of the year. It's Christmas time, right? Like, let's go. Don't give me thumbs down to start the show. I mean, we just got started.
Halloween's the best time of year, bro. It's the best time of year.
Oh, my God. Get out of here with
Spooky
this. Well, guys,
season.
you know what? Here we go. You're going to have a lot of this in our show. I'm going to say something that's right and correct. He's going to say something that's wrong. And we're just going to go back and forth like this all the time. So first off, I want to thank every single one of you for tuning in. This is something that's been on our minds for a while now. We're hopefully bringing you some content that really encompasses what the hobby is as a whole, right, TJ? I think that's really what we're trying to do here at the Hobby Unlimited is we're going to talk different topics within the hobby. We're going to do a lot of bullshitting back and forth, that's for sure. This guy, he's probably going to smoke his hookah 30 times in one episode. Who knows? And we're going to, just kind of see where it goes. So hopefully we bring you guys some really good insights into, what's going on in the hobby, where we think the hobby is going. We want you all to follow us and let us know where you think the hobby is going, and just talk about interesting topics within the hobby, whether it's new releases, whether it's hot topics, whether it's rumors, whether it's this guy wants to talk like WWE, UFC, I don't know, that kind of stuff, but he does. So everything that encompasses the hobby, from grading to shows, we're here. We got you. Sit back, relax, and hopefully you guys enjoy this show with us. So with that, let's just get right into it. Obviously, TJ, one of the things that we just talked about, prior to coming on air here was the big news, the big acquisition that just came down through the pipeline. eBay is buying TCG Player. $295 million acquisition. So first off, obviously I'm a sports guy. For all of you that don't know, just getting used to knowing who we are. I'm a heavy sports guy. TJ, sports guy. Compared to me, we sports guy. However, though, TCG world, this is the dude. This is the dude. He knows his shit. He knows what he's talking about. I rely on him to educate me. You all should rely on him to educate you as well. So, with that being said, TJ, let our viewers know, what do you think this means? Why would eBay go about doing something like this?
Well, one of the reasons is obviously it's an acquisition for another stream of revenue. In the TCG community, specifically for me, so when I am looking up comps or value of Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh or Magic even, TCG Player was a place where you could go and you could pretty much build a portfolio of all the cards that you have all together. If you go in some of these Pokemon groups that are online, people will post hey, selling my collection, and they post a screenshot from their TCG Player that shows, I've got, these 300 cards, this is what the value is on the market. And a lot of people are using TCG Players as a place to value their cards, for one, and you can post cards for sale. And I feel like they're using TCG Player kind of like sports people are using 180 Point as their real identifier for what the value of the card is. So,
that's yeah. No, I was just going to say, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, but so that for me as a sports guy, that basically tells me that in the TCG world, you all are referencing TCGplayer.com when maybe you're out at a show or you're doing a deal over a Facebook group or whatever. You're referencing TCG Player in order to get that comparable price or the potential sale price.
Yeah, I never use eBay for comps on older Pokemon cards. I like vintage Pokemon and first few sets of Yu-Gi-Oh. like the original sets of Egyptian god cards and so forth. I only use TCG Player to reference comps and values of cards, and the
That's his
reason
inner
being is
nerd right there, guys.
so many people in the community, they use TCG Player as their point of reference. So if you're going into one of these Facebook groups, you'll see tons of people saying, I don't take eBay comps as value. I only go by TCG Player. So, and eBay stance, like, that's their competition in the TCG world. So if they acquire TCG Player, they've eliminated one of the biggest competitors that they have as far as using platforms to buy and sell cards and reference them for comps. So eBay gets
So,
less views because people are going to TCG Player.
okay, so do you think then that eBay, from their standpoint, do you feel that maybe they try to merge the two, like try to blend it, or maybe this is strictly just a data play and they say, okay, if all these people are going over to TCG Player anyways, we want that buyer base, that collector base, those, let's call them data, right? Those numbers, we want them, and how do we either hold them on TCG Player and generate revenue from them there, or B, how do we cross them over to the eBay platform, and now we're generating revenue from both platforms?
Yeah, so one of the biggest questions is for the app alone, do they start merging the data from the comps of eBay and the comps of TCG Player and showing them on both platforms? Or do they change the app or website of TCG Player more to mimic how eBay is set up, or vice versa? Or does eBay itself have a separate option that is specifically for TCG and, you know, collectibles in that avenue?
Now you're thinking. So that's when I first heard about this. That's the first thing that I thought. I thought that, okay, you're going to go to eBay, and here very, very soon after this all goes down, after the the acquisition is approved and all of these things, and money is exchanged and a handshake is made, I think that you're going to go to eBay, and in the top corner of eBay, it's going to be TCG Player. You just click on that, and boom, all of a sudden, all those eBay sales are now uploading into that part, and it's just a separate entity that like ties in to eBay. That's what I thought in the when I saw it first.
Yeah, so it's like, do they basically integrate their own version of 180.4 TCG Player into the website, or do they keep it separate? I don't know. That's the biggest question for me. I don't want to see a merge of comps on TCG Player. And that's just personal preference, because I feel like it's going to blur the lines of what the real value of some cards are. Because if you have someone that
Right.
has an eBay sale that ends at 3 p.m. on a Wednesday, that doesn't, like, if that's an auction, it doesn't really show the true value of the card. When people are
Right.
trading, let's say it's a first edition Blue Eyes and they're trading it for thousands of dollars on TCG Player, and one, ends up going for $500-600 less on eBay because of a bad
Right.
auction.
Right. Right. Okay. I mean, it'll be real interesting. I think the big key here is, again, it's something that's happening in the hobby, which is why we're talking about it, and how it affects the hobby. We kind of have to wait and see, right? We're at a wait and see point. We'll see when this acquisition finalizes, and then we'll, see how eBay either integrates it or keeps it separate, or whatever the rollout is moving forward. I think that's kind of the interesting thing, is just to see, where this goes and how it affects the hobby in whole. Especially, how does it affect guys like yourself who are TCG players?
Hmm.
So
Hopefully it'll be months from now
let's
before
talk.
we see changes.
Right. Let's talk about another thing that happened this week. I was scrolling through the intraweb, the www, and we, full disclaimer, we here at the Hobby Unlimited have an incredible partnership set up right now with Hybrid Grading Approach, aka HGA. I could see that you're actually wearing some HGA swag yourself there today, so shout out to HGA. I was scrolling through the Instagrams and saw that HGA did announce that they came out with their new membership program. Kind of interesting, actually. I think it's a great move personally. I love how the subscription membership model is now everything, no matter what industry, no matter what platform, whether it's getting your monthly spandex mailed to you or your monthly lotions and potions and creams. Now, even in the hobby, the membership is really making its way into this industry. So, a couple of key points I wanted to bring up was obviously no order minimum. Super cool. You can just send in one card. This one I think is, for me, it's pretty big. No declared value limit, right? So you can send in a $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 card. Guess what? It's still going to be the same price on the membership pricing scale. You're going to get subgrades on every single card, which is really cool. They're going to give you all those subgrades as well. And I mean, the huge reassurance of money back guaranteed on turnaround times. So, for me, I think that this is, again, just something that if it's HGA, if it's, PSA, if it's Beckett, if it's TAG, if it's any of these grading companies, right? I think that doing this just puts more emphasis on the end user, which is us, right? And just puts us in maybe in a little bit more control. And it just gives us more reassurance on what we're doing when we're mailing our collections to these companies. Thoughts?
Yeah, I think the membership platform is something that, like PSA has a membership platform, HGA's got a membership platform. I think that it is the avenue that everyone is going to eventually go to because it's, at the end of the day, it's guaranteed money for your company. And especially if you can have a membership platform that truly benefits the people that are using it, I think that's best overall. The one thing I really like about the memberships that I saw was the amount of customs that you get for free, because you're getting customs added on there that are normally, I think they're $10 to $20 that they're adding on if you're going to make a regular order. So if you're sending in 20 cards and adding 20 customs on top of that, you're paying, what is it, like $40 per card just to get the customs. And a lot of people,
right.
whether you use an HGA for PC or whether you just like the slabs or whether you trust the AI grading system or whatever, if you like the people that work there, it doesn't matter. You're getting so much value out of that sort of membership that you don't see across a lot of platforms, and not just the sports card industry, just in general.
Right. Well, I think the other thing, too, that's happening is these companies like the HGAs of the world, they're really starting to realize that if you want your end users and your client base to stay, you have to give them more value. And the way that you give them more value, obviously, is through these different membership packets, which, again, as a member, there are X amount of cards that I know every month that I'm now going to submit to HGA because I am a member, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's really cool. I think it's really dope. And I mean, you can't really say much other than like they're freaking dope. Shout out HGA, by the way. Come on.
Hold it up a little closer.
Boom.
There we go.
Freaking dope. Slabs are awesome. The subgrades are amazing, right? So, again, thank you to HGA for being such a great partner with us as well. And I think that, again, you and I always talk about this, right? Like new energy in the industry, new blood, right? This industry is changing every single day. It's very, very still right now, 2022. It's a very, very archaic dinosaur that has been around for way too long at the same rate of growth when it comes to technology, when it comes to
innovation.
Adaptation, new thinking, people stretching the limits of what the industry is. I think there's a lot of people that are hopping into this space or getting back into this space that are going to add so many extra layers into this hobby that the hobby itself is just going to do well for a very, very long time. One of the things that I was thinking about too when we were talking about this topic is, the membership model, right? Like, you and I have talked about this in the past, and obviously we're not on that side of the camera anymore as much, right? We're not doing the breaking, we're not doing the ripping. But I know one thing that we've both been passionate about probably for the last year is really starting a membership-based breaking platform, right? Where I pay a membership to a platform. It's one flat fee every single month. And I know that whether it's once a week, twice a week, 10 times a month, whatever it is, I know that because I'm a member to that stream, all of those breaks are going to be completely free to me. Right? It's all random. So, I could get entered. I could not get entered, yada, yada, yada. There's a lot of factors that we could talk about. But I think that's something that, honestly, probably after this first podcast drops, we should probably hurry up and do before somebody else takes our idea. I mean, we just talked about it, so we should probably do it before somebody else hops on the bandwagon and goes, man, that Preston and TJ guy, they're pretty freaking smart. I like that idea. We should probably do that. Anyways,
probably should have hopped on it before we did the podcast, honestly.
Huh?
I said we probably should have done it before we started the first episode, but it is what it is.
Yeah, we should edit that out, actually. Let's make sure we take that out. No, we won't. We don't even have an editor. This is our first time doing this. What am I talking about? Fuck, an edit it out. Okay, yeah, I'm going to sit around a computer for 4 hours and try to figure that out? Hell no. It's dropping the way it's dropping, and we just have to make sure that we get it done faster than anybody else.
Can we add some
as
bleeps
we
in?
Digress. Huh?
I said we'll just add the bleeps in like they do on TV.
No, I mean, I just leave the bleeps. I mean, we don't need to do it. Come on. No. No. You want to be bleeped out?
No, not me. I mean, sure, blur my face. Just blur my face out.
I said bleep. I didn't say blur. I was already on board with the blurring part, so we're good. Let's move on as we digress. So, next topic that we want to talk about today is, I know this is one that's very near and dear to your heart, TJ. World Cup, 17 days away, Qatar. There's a lot of shit that's going on in Qatar with housing and lodging and hospitality in general. Will they have a World Cup? It's scheduled. It's 17 days from now. It's going to happen. What does that do for those of us sports guys and just hobbyists in general? What does that do for the soccer portion of the hobby, right? Because there's probably going to be a ton of guys that are basketball fanatics, NFL fanatics, and they go, oh, shoot, like all of a sudden this guy named, insert name, just scored 3 goals or 2 goals in the first group stage, and now his cards are being searched 20,000 times on eBay, right? So, like, what does that do? What would you, as a soccer fan, what would you be opening right now? What would you be looking for? Who would you be looking for? And just give us your overall thoughts.
So, first off, I really do think that France is going to repeat, unless the gods will bless us and let us have Portugal and Argentina in the finals. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I would be so happy if it did. What you need to be opening right now, Prism Qatar World Cup. It just dropped yesterday. The autos in there are ridiculous, but you're going to be looking for the Messis, the Ronaldos, the Mbappes. You want to find the young stars that are going to be coming out for their very first World Cup with every country. You're going to be looking at the Harry Kanes of the world. There's a lot of old blood that is still in the game, that this is their last ride. This is their last World Cup. Messi said this is his last one. Ronaldo, I'd have to take a hard guess and say that this is going to be his last World Cup. So you're banking on these guys making it far into the into the tournament and hopefully getting to the finals. I mean, look what Kylian Mbappe did for the hobby just in the last World Cup. Young star, France, which I won big betting on France to win before the World Cup started last time. Young star coming out.
Okay.
Everyone knew that he was good, but no one knew how great this kid really is. He's kind of arrogant and he's got, a big chip on his shoulder, but man, what a soccer player he is. I mean, you look at people like Luka Modric. He plays for Croatia. No one expected Croatia to go as far as they did. And Modric's prices went way up, at least for a little bit, until, he went back to club season. His prices went way up for a little bit because he played every single minute of every game until his very last game. Every single minute of every game. This dude is a machine of a human. And he's playing center mid, so he's roaming the entire field. But for the hobby, I mean, if you can have one star that comes out and just explodes. Costa Rica, I believe it's 2 World Cups ago, James Rodriguez comes out for, I think it was Costa Rica, and absolutely turns into a superstar overnight. He goes from playing at some, slack club to Real Madrid, after the World Cup ends. This tournament makes or breaks stars, not just for their everyday life, but for the hobby. I mean, you look at people like Pedri and Erling Haaland. It's not just the small, like the Champions League shot through the roof. The Europa, they shoot through the roof. The World Cup is really where we find out who is the best of the best in every country across the world. It's the most watched sporting event in the entire world. Super Bowl doesn't hold a candle.
Yeah, okay. So then I guess, the number one thing to take away from that is that if you want to maybe enjoy a little bit of a ride in the hobby, right? Start ripping some Prism Qatar that literally just came out yesterday, right? It literally just released yesterday. Go get yourself a hobby box. Get into some breaks, maybe if you can't afford the hobby box. Get into those breaks. Hopefully get lucky and hit a big card because, a hobby box right now I think will set you back right around $1,000.
$1,000.
So, it'll set you back a full band right now just to get a hobby box. But I'm sure if you go over to the eBays and the Facebooks of the world, the Drips of the world, right? Go to those platforms, jump into some breaks, get those cards to you as fast as you can. You got 17 days, right? Or what did I say, 17? Yeah, 17 days. Maybe even get the cards to you in the next week. Get them over to whatever grading company you want to get them to as fast as you can. Get them graded. And then when a guy like, this gentleman, whoever you're talking about, like Mbappe or whoever, all of a sudden you have a, Prism Gold Auto Mbappe, even though it's not his rookie card, right? It's not going to be his rookie from this year, but you're holding that card and you've got it graded and you put it up on eBay, and then the everyday fan, or I should say, the every World Cup fan comes around and then they watch soccer. Or better yet, a person like myself who really doesn't watch much soccer, and World Cup is going to be on every channel, and it's going to be talked about by every sports podcaster, every sports network. And you see somebody and you go, wow, I really want a card of that guy. Then you go to your eBays of the world and you do your searches. That's when you, as a hobbyist, want to have that card up, right?
Yeah.
When all of a sudden, Holland has 2 goals in a group stage, and you go to eBay and you search Holland. You've never been a Holland fan in your life, but you see a Holland auto and it's a couple $100, and you're like, oh, that sounds like a good investment, and you go put a bid on it, right? That's how the people in the hobby, right, can actually make money right now. Cool. Well,
Norway didn't qualify.
It's gonna be really interesting. Huh?
Norway didn't qualify. So Erling Haaland is off the board.
Oh, well.
But you want your Antonio Griezmanns, your Mbappes.
Shows how much I fucking know about that sport. Just saying. Shows you how much I know about that sport.
I want Norway to host it because I don't think it'll be a while before they get back in, like qualify for it. I want Norway to host it just so Haaland can play. I want to see what he does in the World Cup. But yeah, you want your Neymars, your Messis, your Mbappes, your Ronaldos, your Pedris.
Yeah, see, those are names I know, 100%. Right? So I think it'll be real interesting. I think it'll be really, really interesting. You know what actually is even more interesting than World Cup to me?
What?
Only because I love this sport and I follow it. The 2023 NFL draft. Oh my God, I said it. We're talking about the draft already. This
the
is the
tankathon.
show about the hobby. This is the show about the hobby. And why would I be talking about the draft in November? Because according to moi, and that's all that really matters in this world, according to me, I believe that the 2023 draft could produce as many quarterbacks as 2020 did within the hobby. And if you're first time to the show, never learned anything about the hobby, you haven't been following football cards, any of that, 2020 is the lick, right? We would honestly say that the 2020 rookie class produced an incredible amount of stars, soon-to-be stars, or absolute superstars in the NFL, which translated into the hobby, right? So, what I mean by that, you got guys like Justin Herbert. You got guys like Tua Tagovailoa. You've got Joey Big Balls Burrow already gone to a Super Bowl, right? He's in that rookie class. Those are just 3 names to start. Then people forgot that in that same rookie class, Justin Jefferson is in that rookie class. Oh, was there another WR1 by the name of Chase Claypool in that rookie class also? So absolute studs are in that rookie class. Now, why are we mentioning them? Because 2023 could be the same. We could see the same thing happening in next year when it comes to the hobby and it comes to NFL cards. And I don't want to be Pat McAfee and get a cease and desist order, so I'm going to call it the Professional Football League, just like Pat McAfee's doing now. Y'all don't know about that. Google it. NFL, Pat McAfee. He's no longer able to use the logos, the names. It's funny. It's crazy. He paid for like the naming rights and stuff, millions of dollars. And now Pat McAfee is saying, you know what? Okay, cool, NFL. You don't want me to use your logos and names? How about I start dropping some real bombs? I know you didn't see this, TJ, but he literally said, how about I start dropping some real bombs? He has this massive platform of his podcast. And he goes, how about I start dropping some info on like CTE?
He dropped the pipe bomb.
Drug use within the NFL, all of that stuff. He's like, you want to take away the fact that I can't use logos and names? How about I sprinkle out this information to the world?
He's going to be the
digress.
CM Punk. He's going to be the CM Punk of podcasting. CM Punk dropped the pipe bomb on WWE, and he's going to drop the pipe bomb on the American Professional Football League.
American Professional Football League. There it is. So let's talk about the American Professional Football League, and let's talk about next year, the NFL Draft 2023. Believe it or not, it's just kind of right around the corner, right? We're getting ramped up. It's the holiday season. We're really shaping out where teams are going to be for the playoffs. Super Bowl predictions, like I don't think anybody's going to beat the Bills. Let's just call it like it is.
Eagles.
Bills are that good. Bills are going to be there. We'll see.
I called Eagles dark horse at the beginning of the season. Me and my stepbrother had this conversation. I said Eagles dark horse beginning of the season.
Are you talking about the Eagles?
Mm-hmm.
What draft class is their quarterback from?
2020, right? Jalen Hurts. I think that's their quarterback, right?
Wow. That's what I'm saying, bro. Look at that draft class. Unreal when it comes to the hobby. Unreal when it comes to the NFL. Now, let's talk about 2023, though, because here's what I wanted to go over with you, and I've got this pulled up, so I really, really, really wanted to go over this with you and get your perspective on this. 2023 draft, okay? Spot number 1, Detroit Lions. Are they taking a quarterback?
Yes.
I fucking hope so.
I mean,
hope so.
Jared Goff has played decent
Don't.
this season.
Don't.
He's played
Don't.
decent this season, but look at the weapons he has around him. He's got what is it? Is it Jamal Williams? Is that the other running back beside DeAndre Swift? He's got Amon-Ra St. Brown. That dude is dirty. Honestly, Josh Reynolds is not bad, but their offensive line isn't great. I think that
there's a reason why the Rams traded Jared Goff to get Matt Stafford. So
and now they have a horrible offensive line.
Don't even try to defend Jared Goff with me.
I'm not.
Happen. Detroit's going to take a quarterback. They could take C.J. Stroud. They could take Bryce Young. They could take, I don't know, Bo Nix is starting to look really fucking good. They could take Will Levis. They could take the Vols. What's your guy in Tennessee there? Hendon Hooker.
I'm not a Vols fan.
I know you're not a Vols fan, but you're in Tennessee, so I'm referencing the state, okay? It's called the state you live in. So, therefore, there's 5 quarterbacks right there that they could take, right? Now, you may say, okay, this guy probably not number 1, right? But there's 3 guys there that could legitimately be the number 1 pick, in my opinion, okay? So, we know that Detroit's going to take a quarterback. Now, number 2, Houston Texans. What do they need?
They are going to have to take a quarterback. Oh, they need defensive players, and they need a quarterback.
Okay.
I mean,
now the only thing that's benefiting the Texans in this spot right here in number 2 is they have another pick later on.
Yeah.
However, though, if you're the Houston Texans, and all of a sudden, let's just hypothetically say Stroud goes number 1, you're sitting at number 2. You could theoretically take somebody on the defensive end, which they probably will. It'll probably be somebody from Alabama because it always is.
Carter from Georgia. It's going to be Carter from Georgia if they take a defensive player.
Oh, there's your fanboy talk. See, that's the fanboy talk. There it is right there. It's going to be a Georgia guy.
It's not
Weird.
fanboy.
What team do you root for? What team do you root for?
I'm a UGA fan, but listen, I'm not being a fanboy.
Stop.
It's because he's one of the best defensive players in the country. Here's the thing for Houston, though. They have 2 picks inside the top 10. It depends how much you value these quarterbacks in the Heisman race. How much do you value Bryce Young from what we've seen this season? How much do you value Will Levis from what we've seen this season? How much do you value Bo Nix? How much do you value Hendon Hooker? And then you have to look at the teams that are going to be directly behind you and who needs a quarterback. So Carolina.
So let's get past. Let's say Houston sticks. They don't. Let's just say they don't defensive. At number 2 because they have another pick. Okay, so Carolina's at 3. Guess what? Carolina, you're taking a quarterback. Okay? Then at number 4, we've got the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't think the Steelers can move off of Kenny Pickett. Hometown
I don't
boy.
Think they're not taking another quarterback. They're taking offensive lineman.
Okay? Now we're on to number 5. Real interesting spot here. Really interesting spot here. And why do I say that? Because Jacksonville Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence is coming up on the back end of his rookie contract.
They're 2-6.
Just saw they're 2-6. I literally just saw the stats side by side. Same amount of games. Gardner, Mustache Minshew, Trevor Lawrence. Minshew has better stats as of right now. Everybody keeps saying the upside. The upside. The upside. You're an organization in the NFL. The upside is how much longer can you suck, right? So this could be interesting. Jacksonville could be very, very interesting here. Not to mention Trevor Lawrence. Listen, if you feel that the Jacksonville organization is not 100% behind you, bro, next year, a third of the league needs a starting quarterback. You're worth a lot out in the league, right? So it could be really interesting. So let's just say hypothetically that the Jags move off of Lawrence. Let's just throw that out there. So you've got the number 1 pick in the draft is going to be a quarterback. Okay. The number 3 pick in the draft is going to be a quarterback. Again, going with our theory, well, my theory, which is always our theory. Number 5 in the draft. Number 5 in the draft, quarterback. Okay. This one's real interesting. Number 6 pick, Raiders.
Las Vegas.
They're moving off of Derek Carr.
You have to. So if you look at the interior of a lot of these teams, you're seeing talented. Derek Carr is a talented quarterback. He is a talented quarterback.
People out there in the world, I just want you to know right now that you're going to hear this a lot from me over the episodes that are about to come. This is the same guy that loves Kirk Cousins. Just saying.
Kirk Cousins is
go
a
ahead.
good quarterback. I don't give a crap what anyone says. Okay, Las Vegas.
Okay. So I know what I know what your argument here is. Let's just keep it rolling because we're already at 35 minutes in this podcast.
Okay, the O-line.
People
the
have
O-line.
probably already stopped listening to us. They've
The
already
O-line
stopped
is the
listening
issue.
to us. Let's just be real.
The O-line is the
They've already
issue
stopped
for a lot of
listening
these
to us.
teams. They haven't. The O-line is the issue for a lot of these teams. You look at Jacksonville, terrible offensive
Josh
line.
McDaniels did not pick Derek Carr to be his quarterback.
I
Josh
agree.
McDaniels wants his own quarterback. All these coaches, I don't care who you are, they want their quarterback. They want their guy, right? So at number 6, let's just stick to the Preston world here, okay? Number 6 will be the 4th quarterback taken in the draft. Now, call me crazy. Number 7.
Do you trust in Trask?
I'm sorry, I shouldn't say soon to be, newly divorced Tampa Tom. Do you trust Trask, which I haven't heard anything about Trask in 2 years.
He's not going to see the field.
Nobody-
As long as they have Tom Brady, he's not going to see the field, period, anyway.
I
So
understand.
do you
that.
trust
I
him to
understand
come
that.
in cold and take over your offense? I mean, you look at these other teams that need a quarterback. Houston sitting on Davis Mills. You've got Pittsburgh sitting. They're sitting on Kenny Pickett. Jacksonville sitting on Trevor Lawrence. And look at the records of these teams that have trusted in these rookie quarterbacks. Aside from Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert. And Tua.
Right. Well, so let's just say at this spot at number 7, you still theoretically could have a Hendon Hooker
Another
available,
quarterback. Yeah.
or a Bo Nix available. But let's just say that they don't. Let's say that Tampa says, you know what, we've had Kyle Trask grooming him behind Tom Brady for the last 2 years. We're going to stick with Trask. Okay. Now, we've had 4 out of the 7. 4 out of the 7. 8 Eagles. No way. They're not going anywhere. Jalen Hurts is their dude for the next 5 years. Minimum.
They're getting more offensive weapons. That's what they're doing.
9 is the Texans. We've already said Texans are definitely going to take it at 9. If they don't,
They're
take
taking a
one
quarterback
2,
at 2 or 9.
They're taking a quarterback at 9. And at number 10,
You've got the Seattle
Seattle
Seahawks. I think you have to, if you're the Seattle Seahawks with Geno Smith, knowing over his career how injury prone Geno Smith has been and how many other quarterbacks have beat him out for the starting position, he looks okay this year. If you look at his backfield, Kenneth Walker, beast. You've got DK Metcalf, monster. Tyler Lockett, about to go into retirement. He's getting old. You've got Will Dissly as
Okay.
your tight end. You have to take a quarterback that's young and mobile.
But you also have to take into consideration at this point, based off of what we're talking about, is there another quarterback that would be a top 10 quarterback at this point of the draft?
So you've got CJ. You assume CJ Stroud, Will Levis, Bryce Young, Hendon Hooker, and Bo Nix. We'll say assumption that they're all off the board. Assumptions. Do you look at? I don't know how old is the kid that plays for Mississippi State? Is he a junior? The one that set the new
But he's not ready. I don't think he's a top 10 talent in anyways, right? He's not going to change the foundation. So let's just stop there. Let's
Okay.
just say that we've stopped the quarterbacks that could be top 10s are gone, right? We just drafted five
top 10.
quarterbacks in the top 10. What does that do when Prism draft picks rolls around baby, the hobby could be on fire all over again. It could be on fire all over again, right? It could literally be 2020, right? I got a box back there, still sitting on it. 2020 Optic, sitting on the shelf, sealed, and people are willing to spend. I think the last comp I saw in this box is like 155.
They want the rated rookie hollows.
150 rated. That's what I'm saying, right? So we went all around the map. It took us 15 minutes to do it, but 2023 NFL could potentially bring as much hype, and when we say hype on this show, it means value for the hobby. It could bring that much value to the hobby because the draft class could be potentially that banging.
I think it will be.
Hot take, put it up on the whiteboards. Stephen A. Smith, talk all about it. I don't know. Maybe one day Stephen A. Smith will talk about something that I said. That'd be kind of cool. But I mean, honestly, I really do. I really do think that 2023 could be the year where all of a sudden we're sitting there going, oh my God, we're opening up packs and we're looking for 5 quarterbacks in the top 10.
That all have a chance
What
to shine
a year
at the
for the hobby it
organizations.
could be. Yeah, and that's the other thing. They're not going to teams where it's like they're not going to start. They're going to start. They're going to be the franchise quarterback from day one. So
it's going to be interesting.
Interesting, right? So, dude, I think that's it for today, man. We're at 40 minutes of talking about all the different stuff that could potentially impact the hobby, that's currently impacting the hobby, stuff that will impact the hobby, like World Cup will definitely 1,000% impact the hobby. New mentorship programs being rolled out from HGA impacting the hobby. And then we talked about some stuff really far down in the future, which is like the NFL draft, which, again, could impact the hobby tremendously from a value standpoint. So,
not could, will.
It will. I hope it does. I really, really, really hope it does. I need a little bit more energy, right? Because let's be honest, this year's product,
lackluster.
At best.
It was lackluster.
The rookies are meh. And then, NBA, NBA didn't really get me excited because everybody's chasing, I don't know, Cade Cunningham. Okay, cool in the hobby. Cade, maybe. But is there another Jaw? Is there another, he's back.
Anthony
Zion.
Edwards.
He's back, right? Is there another Anthony Edwards out there? It'll be real interesting to see what this kid Wembanyama does to the hobby. Like, dude, when I read or heard somewhere that the commissioner of the NBA had conversations around relegation, like what they have over in Europe for soccer, relegation within the NBA, because if you tanked, you weren't able to be in the draft. Like, that's how much hype this kid Wembanyama has, right? So, real interesting to see, first off, where he goes. Who does he, what brands pick him up? If he becomes theoretically,
does he translate
talent? Does he translate to the NBA? I think so, but I think that the hype's just going to drive NBA through the roof next year. So, with that being said, guys, everybody that's out there, guys and gals, first off, thank you for joining us for the very first episode of the Hobby Unlimited. Again, it's been an absolute blast. This is something that myself and TJ have been hoping and wanting to do for a really long time. I'm hoping that we're going to be able to produce these on a weekly basis, if not multiple times a week. That way we can really get you guys information on what's going on in the hobby, how the hobby's doing, where the hobby's going, and then how does other stuff tie into the hobby, right? Like, how do things that's happening outside of the hobby affect the hobby? And then really, TJ, one of the things we talked about is let's get some podcast interviews going with some of these other CEOs, CFOs, CMOs, right? The fanatics of the world. Let's get in front of different grading companies. Where are they moving? Like, what are the cool stuff that they're wanting to do within the hobby? And let's really start showcasing that moving forward. And lastly, we should probably start that monthly breaking membership because somebody's going to take our idea, bro, for sure.
And let's give away some free shit.
I love it. Let's do that. Let's get with our partners. Let's start giving away some free shit. Guys, thank you to everybody that's watched this. Check out the comments below. We might have some free stuff in there. Who knows? Also, comment below. Tell us what you guys want to see, you want to hear, who you want us to interview. And hopefully, like, subscribe, hit those buttons, smash the like button, hit the subscribe button so you know when these podcasts drops. And appreciate every single one of y'all being here. And we will catch you on the flip side. Peace.
1, 2,